What's up, everybody? Welcome to Talk Wrestling here on NoDQ.com. I am, of course, Jeff Meacham, but you already knew that if you're watching this show, am I right? First of all, let me thank eBay user, I don't know the whole name on eBay, but Caleb out of Madison, Wisconsin, for putting this shirt up for sale, because this was my my reward for doing Talk Wrestling this week. So, Caleb from Madison, Wisconsin, thank you for answering the call, I guess, because about a week or so before we found this shirt on eBay, I asked for if anybody had this shirt for sale. I've been looking for this shirt for years and years and years. This is the original Rob Van Dam shirt, the RVD 420 shirt. The back says, "I just smoked your ass." It's from the original ECW. You can't find it anywhere for cheaper than what we found it for, so thank you, sir. And I wore it today for two reasons. One, to celebrate Rob, because Rob is awesome. We all love Rob Van Dam on Talk Wrestling and NoDQ.com. And to also commemorate Axel Rotten, who passed away this past week. So our best wishes to everybody in Axel's family, including his brother Ian. It's always sad when somebody so young in wrestling passes away. I guess Axel's only 44 years old. That didn't seem right to me, because he seemed so much older, and he's been in the business for so long. It just seemed like he'd been around a lot longer. But, you know, I guess he was in his early 20s, 20 years ago, when ECW was cooking with gas. So, cooking gas. So, thank you to Caleb, and Godspeed to Axel. All right, let's get to your questions. The first two are related, so we'll go ahead and pull them together. The first one is from @Trent_swag316. What do you think of the triple threat match for Fastlane? Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns versus Dean Ambrose. Thought it was awesome. And @OwensMoss98270215 on Twitter says, Reigns, Ambrose, or Lesnar, who you picking? I think it's going to be a triple threat between Triple H, Ambrose, and Reigns. Owen, that is a very interesting scenario you put forward, sir. The fact that we were hoping for a Shield triple threat at WrestleMania between Rollins, Ambrose, and Reigns, and now we're not going to get that, obviously, because of the injury to Seth Rollins. Putting Triple H into that spot is one of the lucky scenarios. I think the most obvious scenario that we can all assume is going to happen is going to be the standard one-on-one title match between Triple H and Roman Reigns for the World Heavyweight Championship. I don't know if they're going to go anywhere beyond the box on that. I think there's still meat to Ambrose defending the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania, because he's not defending it at Fastlane. So I think there's still, unless he loses it before then, you never know. There's still meat to there, so I don't think he'll be involved in the main event of WrestleMania. Trent, I think it's a great idea. I like the fact that they're involving Brock Lesnar more in B pay-per-views, as Aaron calls them, the B pay-per-views, so there aren't Royal Rumble, Mania, SummerSlam, or Survivor Series. My personal pick is going to be on the episode with Aaron, but I gotta go with Roman. That's what I think's gonna win. All right, these next two are also related in a way, so I'll go ahead and answer them both simultaneously. First one comes from @SSJ4 Vegeta 1986 on Twitter. Do you think it would be better to have Undertaker face a heel Roman Reigns instead of Braun Strowman, so the main event won't be booed? Well, if you don't put Roman in the main event challenging for the championship that he was screwed out of, who do you have challenge for the championship then? There's the problem with that, you know. And Daniel Allen 445 on Twitter says, what do you think of the idea of Jericho turning heel and maybe facing Undertaker at WrestleMania? I think we're beyond Jericho needing to turn babyface or heel to warrant a main event match at WrestleMania. Even if Undertaker isn't the main event anymore, he's still a marquee match at WrestleMania. So it would be an interesting battle of two legends on a grand stage. We never really got the definitive Undertaker-Jericho feud that was briefly teased when Jericho first debuted. If you remember, the second week Jericho was there, he interrupted the Undertaker on the Big Show during a promo. Undertaker pretty much took him to school verbally. But we never really got that iconic feud between the two of them, so it's a possibility. I'd rather see Jericho than Braun Strowman, let's be honest. I'm not a fan of Strowman. I'm not a fan of pretty much anybody in the Wyatt family, work-wise, except for Luke Harper. I think they're all a bunch of slobs when it comes to their ring work. And that's coming from the biggest slob in the world, let's be honest, and that's me. But I'm just not a fan. And I don't think that he should be in the ring of The Undertaker at WrestleMania. I think Undertaker deserves better than having to battle the Giants like he did for all those years leading up to the Sid match at WrestleMania 13 and the Diesel match at WrestleMania 12 also. He found nothing but, just out of their prime people. With him, except for Jake the Snake Roberts, he was okay. He was good. He was great then. This is from 9mm Heater on Instagram. If you had a choice between two matches at WrestleMania 32, which would you choose and why? An NXT Championship match or a Goldberg match? This is a very easy answer. NXT Championship match. I am such a huge fan of the NXT brand. I love NXT. I love what they stand for. I love what Triple H has done with FCW and rebranded it and molded it into this awesome, I dare say, a better brand than the bigger WWE brand overall. I think NXT is amazing, and to showcase their top championship at WrestleMania would be a huge reward for the men and the women who have busted their asses for the better part of the last 3 years or so in NXT and deserve to have their championship showcased on the grand stage. So, and as far as a Goldberg match, no way. Goldberg deserves to be in retirement where he belongs. He was nothing but a jerk to us, and he can just stay away as far as I'm concerned. Bye-bye, Goldberg. Bye-bye. This is from @BadNewsMacam on Twitter. If and when the Balor Club debut, I like the Balor Club logo, that's cool, debuts, do you think they could be as big as the Shield? The Shield was something special. I think those three guys really set the tone for a group in wrestling. Something not seen, I dare say, as a three-man group since the Freebirds. Those guys were awesome. And I'm talking about any three-man group in wrestling. You talk about the Triple Threat in ECW. You talk about, the Wolfpack in NWO, the Hall Nash and X-Pac, or Six rather. The Shield was truly something awesome, and I think that if they kept the Balor Club intact and they put Gallows and Anderson with Finn Balor as a heel stable, a heel group, a trio, heel trio, there we go, that's what I was going for, it could be something special. But I don't know if they're going to want to twist Finn Balor like that. I don't know if they're going to want to really tweak his character to the point where he needs the backup of Gallows and Anderson. However, I also don't think Gallows and Anderson need Finn Balor. I think they're perfectly big stars on their own. They have a name value to them coming into WWE where they won't need really to latch on to the NXT champion to be a viable commodity. Now, if they win the tag team championships from Dash and Dawson and they want to hook up and be, the gold standard of NXT holding all the male gold, that's one thing. That could be something special. I would like that. This is from my buddy Greg Cherry on Facebook. What do you think will be the big turn at WrestleMania or the night after? I'm not sure, Greg, if we'll see a big turn at WrestleMania or the night after. I do think we're going to see the debut of Samoa Joe. Aaron's talking about it on NoDQ.com. His reporter's been all over that for the better part of the last few weeks, talking about Joe's going to debut at Mania. He's going to debut the night after Mania. He's going to debut sometime around WrestleMania. I think Samoa Joe's time is now. I think that he's going to bring the NXT Championship with him. I think he's going to win in Dallas against Balor. And I think that he's going to really take the championship to the next level and be more than Kevin Owens became as an NXT champion crossing over to the main roster. I think Joe is going to be really something spectacular. I think he's going to be awesome. This is from our buddy Kayfabe Candy Ass on Twitter. Hey, has an actual wrestler ever supported the idea of a WWE offseason, or is it just something that fans bitch about when injuries happen? Yeah, to my knowledge, and this is me, I don't know everything, despite what it's been parlayed out there to the masses. I don't know everything about wrestling, but I do know that there's been talk of a union over the years as far as getting them better benefits and better health care and things like that, but never has the industry been more injury plagued than it is right now, especially the WWE. WWE is chock full of injuries from the top to the bottom and all points in between, and they could definitely use the time off without having to get hurt. So I, for one, would like to see it. You know, and not something to an off season for everybody, but put the people in shifts, kind of like what Jericho does now with his own schedule. Show up when it's time to work, and then when it's time to take a break, you take a break for a few months, and then you come back, and you take a break, and then you come back. Just put it in cycles. The problem with guys like Cena and Orton and all these other guys is that they're running 12 months a year, 365 days a year almost. They're wrestling all the time with no real substantial break, and then they're getting significant injuries like Nikki Bella, who basically broke her neck over the course of a year and didn't take any time off until it was absolutely almost too late, and now we don't know what her status is going to be going forward. I would love to see the guys be able to take a break when they need to, not when they have to. This is from I Say Whatever 666 on Twitter. Has NXT peaked too early? No. I think there are still many, many good points of NXT to come in the future. You've got a lot of people that are still in development that we've seen on Breaking Ground on the WWE Network, the award-winning WWE Network, right? That's a cheap shill, Vince. You owe me money. That are still untapped. And you've got people in NXT that are on the show now that are still kind of untapped. I mean, you've got a lot of the divas that are coming up through the indie circuit and come through developmental that are being showcased to a certain point. You've got Mandy, who was runner-up on Tough Enough. You've got Sarah, who won Tough Enough. You've got all the guys that you've seen on Breaking Ground, all the other girls you've seen on Breaking Ground. There's so many unbelievably hot commodities in NXT and in developmental and at the Performance Center that have yet to be showcased on the grand stage, if you will, of the NXT show on Wednesday nights, that we've only just begun to see what NXT is capable of. I don't think they've peaked at all. I think they're just continuing to grow and grow and grow. This is from, let's see, Jules1931 on Twitter. If WWE did an all-diva Hall of Fame class, who would you think you would want for it, and who do you think WWE would pick? I think that's what he said. Well, yeah, remember, Trish is in, Sonny's in, Sable should be in. I think with all the back and forth between the two of them, I think Sable still deserves a spot. Jacqueline deserves a spot. Mickie James deserves a spot. There's Gail Kim, I think, honestly. Despite her doing very, very little in WWE, she's done a lot for women's wrestling. And if they want to call themselves the Wrestling Hall of Fame, the Sports Entertainment Hall of Fame, they've got to include Gail Kim for contributions to TNA and their Knockouts division. Molly Holly, Victoria. There's a lot. Is there enough for a whole class in and of itself? No, I don't think so. I think that I think there's going to be they're going to split them up, which they should. There should never be an all something like an all stable or an all diva or all this. It should WWE Hall of Fame is what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to split up. The big marquee talent like this year is going to be Sting. Previous years has been Hogan and Savage, and Undertaker will be probably the next year or two. But to have it be all one classification takes away from the impact of the Hall of Fame overall. Thank you all very much for watching this week. Again, thank you to Caleb from Madison, Wisconsin for the shirt, and Godspeed to Axel Rotten. We will see you next time on Talk Wrestling.